So good evening. We're back again. I've got dead lighting. I'm looking a little bit tanned, if I'm honest. Reminiscing of Spain, but we are back again. Newcastle preview. Kendall's back again. Big up to you, darling. Hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
It's it's been about a week since we last did a preview.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start off because obviously, I'm buzzing. I know Arsenal are crap at the minute, but we're getting rid of Mesut Ozil. And that has made my whole life. I have wanted this guy gone for about 4 seasons now, and it's looking like it's happened. But I wanted to get your take on it. How do you view Mesut Ozil? Because I know a lot of fans for rival teams always say, "Oh, he's a good player. He's this and that." How have you seen him? What do you think of him?
I think he was probably good for about 2 seasons. I think, early on, and then ever since then, it's just kind of been downhill for him. And now the issue is he's going to be remembered for this whole situation that's been going on for the last couple of months over his career, because his career at Arsenal wasn't the heights that people wanted it to be or expected it to be. So now it's a bit of a shame, because obviously he's going to just be remembered for this the whole, because anytime I see anyone mention him, it's always 350k a week. That's just all he's ever going to be remembered for. And that's kind of sad, considering obviously when you guys signed him, prime Mesut Ozil was an unbelievable player at the time, and he just hasn't lived up to the heights that I think people wanted him to or expected him to, especially even rival fans. So it's a shame, but he's rid of him. It's one less problem that Arsenal's got to deal with, obviously, under the whole where that things are at the moment. So it can only be a good thing, I suppose, for Arsenal in general and him, because this is probably the latter stage of his career now, so probably good just to move on.
To be honest, I've got the champagne on ice. I think it's going to be announced tomorrow, so I'm popping champagne breakfast as soon as it's announced. I can't wait. I genuinely cannot wait. I bought an expensive bottle and a cheap bottle, and I'm popping the expensive one and putting it straight down the sink. And I'm going to sip on the cheaper one, because
symbolic.
When you overpay for shit, you just have to throw it in the bin. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to sip on the nice cheap one from Aldi. but let me ask you this before we move on to Newcastle and that. Would you take him at Newcastle? If Newcastle could afford Mesut Ozil, or the wages weren't an issue, would you take him at Newcastle?
I think, just based on wages, obviously, I know we'd never ever obviously pay whatever he's on, and I know that the whole thing before was that Arsenal were going to pay half of his wages. Even at that point, I think 150k or anything. There's other players that I would have, probably about 10, 15 other players I'd have before him on that sort of money, if we were ever going to pay that. So if he was going to be on 20k a week, well, I'd take it. That's never going to happen.
He's only worth about 20k a week.
Dwight Gale's on 50, so I think I'd maybe stretch it a bit for Ozil. But I just probably not, because as I say, there's players that I would take miles before him, because he hasn't had proper game time for God knows how long.
Yeah, last season he played I think 12 games in a row. That was it.
He just hasn't had a regular run. You don't even know what sort of player he's going to be now. So I think that would be way too much of a risk for us to take. And God forbid we ever spend over 100 grand on wages. Christ, I'll have a heart attack, me, if I ever see that. Mike Ashley having a knock on the head.
You lot are always on Ashley's case, I swear. And it makes me laugh, because our owner don't ever go to games. Yours is always sat at games. And it's our lot are always saying, "Oh, but we need an owner that cares and goes to games." And you're the prime example of it don't matter.
Yeah, he only goes to games now because no one's there. He never ever used to. He used to go to games maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, and then you used to see him with his shirt and his belly out and sipping pints. But now he hasn't gone for years, because everyone hates him. But now no one's there, so no one can shout, fat cocky, get out of our club, because that's what everyone shouts at him. But I just, he's only there because none of us are there to shout at him, so you can crack on. Not that I shout, but
no, that's mad. Seriously though, I've been there when we were beating you. Funny enough, Ozil scored that day. Xhaka scored as well. 2 of our worst players. And your fans are ruthless, man. Seriously, they don't care. They're just going to sing all sorts of names to him. It's mad. And the whole stadium joining. It ain't like you got people saying, "Oh, don't say that, don't say that." It's like
no, everyone. I honestly think right now the only two things that Newcastle United fans agree with is Steve Bruce out and Mike Ashley out. Anything else, they just like arguing amongst themselves about it. But even like to the point of Joe Linton, like people will say, "Oh, give them time," and the other say, "Oh, we need to just cut our losses," and we just argue amongst ourselves, absolutely no reason for everything. But I don't know if your fan base is the same, but ours definitely is the worst for arguing over amongst themselves. But yeah, I think the only thing they actually agree on is Ashley out and Bruce out at the moment.
Yeah, I think our fans are probably the worst in the world, if I'm honest. They literally argue over anything, like actually anything. Like, I put videos out, people cry about my videos. Like, it's like, chill out, mate.
Could you be asked, honestly? Like, could you be asked to sit?
Do you know what I'm saying? Imagine not liking someone, going on their channel, clipping it and putting it on Twitter. Like,
because then they've literally had to watch your video to clip the video.
Exactly. That's why I find it all funny. But there was a question I wanted to ask you before we go into the games and that. Somebody put in, oh, there it is. Shearer or Henry? That's kind of dumb asking a Newcastle fan whether it's Shearer or Henry in it, really.
The thing is that I always like think I'm fair. I think I'm a fair person, and I don't just like biased because I mean, look, Shearer was the last really good player we had. Like, we haven't really had like a phenomenal player like that, and obviously he's record holder and things in the Premier League. So the only reason I would go with Shearer, and it's not a Newcastle bias, it's because we had a worse team than the team that Henry was in Arsenal, and Shearer still did what he did in that team. Not by any stretch of the imagination was it a bad team. I mean, he had some great players amongst him, but in general, it was a worse team, and he still did what he did. But that is not me saying at all that that they're not even both on the same level, because I think they are, and I think obviously Henry is one of the greatest players to ever grace the Premier League. But just based on the fact that I think she obviously played in a less cohesive team with a little bit less quality all round, I would just go with Shearer.
If Arsenal had Shearer when we had all of them decent players, we probably would have won the treble every season. 100%. That kid was brilliant, unbelievable footballer. 100%. Well, he wasn't actually a very good footballer, but he was just a top class goal scorer. He's probably the best striker we've seen he is the best striker we've seen in this country. His celebration was shit, just his one hand up and all that. He needed to sort that out. But other than that, he was unbelievable. What a finisher! And I will always have a soft spot for him, because when we drew with Tottenham to do the unbeaten season, or we actually won the league at White Hart Lane on that game, Shearer scored a 30-yard volley against Chelsea the game before, and it was the Super Sunday, and he banged that goal, and they beat Chelsea 1-0, which meant we only needed a draw. Instead of going there to win, and then we obviously got the draw. So I've always had a soft spot for Shearer.
That's a bit like me with Jack Grealish, because when we were coming back up from the Championship, it was like down to the final day who was winning the Championship, us or Brighton. And obviously I know it's different, but Jack Grealish scored in the 92nd minute in the Villa v Brighton game. So that meant we won the league. Then we didn't even need to. We only needed a draw as well. So that's why I always like Jack Grealish as well, even though everyone else hates him.
Grealish is sick. I love Grealish. And that's a player that would elevate Arsenal right up into title challenging, I think. Like, just him alone had put us in a title challenge, because the league's shit this season. Like, some of the games, like the standard of passing and crossing in this league is dead. Like, it's just so crap, and like they've got no excuses. There's no fans there to be on their case. The pitches are immaculate. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I just look at some of the crosses. I think, how can't you cross a ball? Like, you hit the first man every time.
Look at that game today, meant to be the title challengers, both of them. Oh, that was the most boring game. One of the most boring games I've seen this season, and I've had to watch Newcastle. So that's it. That is saying something. So that was just boring, because you just wanted something better than that. If you're going to challenge for the title, then Man City just rock up after you and show you up and score 4 goals against Crystal Palace. So.
The real attacking midfielder, Kevin De Bruyne, with outside of the boot assists and all sorts. What a footballer. None of this Mesut Ozil or Bruno Fernandes and all them ones. You know what I mean? Kevin De Bruyne. But that game was dead. And that game's always overrated, though. Like, I've always found that game's got so much hype, and it's normally a 0-0 or a 1-1. Like, Arsenal versus Tottenham's bigger than that. Yeah. Like, in terms of activity on the pitch, it's probably not a bigger game because they're both bigger teams. But yeah, it's always more entertaining watching Arsenal Tottenham North London derby. It's probably more entertaining watching you lot against Sunderland. It's always saying
oh, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Way I don't know, like could be happening next season. The way we if they go on the same way, they might get promoted. We might get relegated and meet again.
It's mad. It's mad. One more question before we get in. Big up to Brandon. Big up to 400 people watching live as well. Make sure you smash the likes up. Kendall's channel is in the title as well, the link, so you can subscribe to her channel. Just click it. It doesn't take you off the stream. Bruce or Arteta? Big up Brandon.
I don't even really know what to say about that. I really dislike Bruce and I don't dislike Arteta. So just Arteta for that reason. Because we haven't been good defensively or attacking. And Bruce has completely destroyed our defence. Like literally destroyed it from the bottom up. What Rafa built defensive wise. So yeah, just Arteta. I think he's probably got a more modern approach despite, his shortcomings, if you will.
I'll take Bruce. I'll take Bruce. I'm bored of Arteta ball. It's boring. Yeah, and I'll just take Bruce. But we obviously played each other the other week, about 10 days or so ago.
Yeah.
And Andy Ibrahimovic rocked up to the end. What a performance from him. He was unbelievable. Like, he's a nuisance, that guy. Like, terrorised every single one of our players on that pitch. Every time the ball went up, his elbows are hanging out, and he's just an arsehole, man, like, to play against. I actually think he's a very good player. And if you throw balls up to him in the air, he's taking everyone out and scoring.
Yeah.
When the ball's on the deck, I don't know how he missed. Like, not the one right at the end. Unbelievable second save from our keeper. The first save I thought was a good save, but the one where he swiped it away, I was like, right, you're brave doing that, because he could have kicked your head off doing that. But
he nearly did. It was like that close.
Yeah, millimeters. Yeah. And the thing is, I don't particularly rate Leno, but he has got that in him. He has got the ability to make unbelievable saves.
Yeah, like a really important.
Tottenham, and he done it in that game. But the one I wanted to talk about was the miss early in the second half, where it was just literally open goal. Like, I know he's only just come back into the team in that. He hasn't really played much, has he? I think he scored his first goal against Leicester.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to ask you, like, obviously his performance was unbelievable. And for me, the game changed as soon as he went off. And obviously extra time, we just kicked on and probably deserved to nick it in the end. But do you think he'll play tomorrow? Because I know Callum Wilson started against Sheffield United, didn't he?
I hope he plays. I really hope. But Steve Bruce has this stupid thing where he just does this thing where he'll do the opposite to what we expect him to do. And I don't know why he does it. Honestly, half the time I think he does it to wind people up, because he just does the most stupid changes, like, and utterly ridiculous things. Like, if he's won a game or drew even, he will literally just play the exact same team. No matter who you're playing, no matter what the different, like, challenges are and what the different issues are going to be in that team, he'll just play the exact same team. So obviously he's done the interview yesterday and he said the gloves are off now. I've let these players be comfortable, and now's the time where, we actually go in and change things. I'm thinking, what have you done for the past 19 months? Have you done now? Have you just let the players go and crack on, do what they do? Like, we have this joke that he just has a tombola ball for the players and just rolls the tombola ball, and he just says, "Yep, number 13. Okay, you can go and play." Like, honestly, that's genuinely how I feel he does it, because there's just no other logical explanation as to who he picks. It would be stupid, very, very stupid, not to play Andy Carroll tomorrow. And I think if him and Wilson play together, as two up front, I think it'll be better. And yeah, as you say, he's really an arse to play against, because he is so physical, and you don't have a lot of strikers now in the league who are like that, because they're more technical and they're more, like talisman people for goals and stuff. And he's defensive. Like, as soon as he went off, we absolutely crumbled, because he was playing centre back half the time. Like, you were seeing him, he did a goal line clearance and that.
Yeah, he was winning bullet headers in the box and everything.
So he would be very, very idiotic not to play him tomorrow. But honest to God, I wouldn't put it past Steve Bruce not to play him. It would just, because I just wouldn't. He's just that sort of idiot. That's and that's I'm being nice there, I think. But yeah, he really, really should be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, if he plays tomorrow, I think we'll be in a bit of trouble, because David Luiz has actually played very well recently. And I think he was probably the best player against you lot, against him. Like, he didn't look like he was in any issues whatsoever. I think did he play? I'm sure he played. Maybe it was Palace game. Yeah, he did. He did play. Yeah, he actually defended against him all right. But it's like, it's funny because I have this joke like with the chat and that every time we play a game, and we got a free kick against us or a corner against us, it's always the midget that's marking the big man. Yeah, and it's like, why are we putting the smallest player on a 6'5" physical guy? And I think it was Bellerin one side and Tierney the other side he was going up at. And it's like, surely the centre-back says, no, I'll have him. Like, I'll have him. Yeah, but that just shows the level of our centre-backs. They're all weak. And I am worried if he plays. I wanted to ask you about Shelvey. What's happened to him? Like, because I think that guy's decent.
The thing with Shelvey
is he injured?
No, he's fit. But the thing with Shelvey is he's massively inconsistent, and that bugs Newcastle fans especially. I think he is probably the player that is Marmite to Newcastle fans, because some fans love him for what he can do, yet the other hate him for the fact that he is so inconsistent. On his day, don't get us wrong, I think there's probably not that many people who can pass a ball the way he can. When he is so good, when he's on top form and when he's not lazy. But the problem is he has this issue where he is very lazy. If a game's not going his way, he's just lazy. His head's down. He doesn't try and do enough. He's not involved in the game enough for me to like have a place over the other midfielders, especially if Carroll isn't playing, because lumping a long ball up to Wilson is just absolutely pointless. There is just no point in doing that, and we've learned it a million times before. Probably in about 15 games we've learned that does not work, and they still continue to do it. So if Carroll's on the pitch, it's better, because obviously, as you say, he can win a header and he's better in the air than obviously Callum Wilson would be. So if Carroll plays tomorrow, I wouldn't mind Shelvey playing, because they kind of work off each other a bit better. But he's another one. I think it's just, I mean, we've had him now for 5 years. Like, I think it was last week we signed him 5 years ago. And
that's mad. That's flown by as well.
Yeah,
I remember when he started pointing at Fergie when he was at Liverpool.
It was this one. I always remember when it was like Gareth Southgate when he was like this. And I think he's maybe had 2 good seasons, like 2 decent seasons where he's been pretty active a lot. And the rest, it's just been very inconsistent. So, as I say, it just completely depends on who he plays. If Carroll plays, yes, I wouldn't mind playing Shelvey, because other than Hayden, I think our midfield's lacking massively. Like, big issues in midfield. I really wanted just to sign a midfielder in this window, but it doesn't look like we're going to. So, don't mind him playing if Carroll's playing. But otherwise, there's not really any point, because he doesn't bring anything else other than a decent pass and a long ball.
How's Callum Wilson done? Like, because you spent quite a bit of money on him. I think it was 20 million, wasn't it?
20 mil.
How's he got on?
To be fair, like in this day and like this sort of environment of football, 20 million is not that much for a decent goal scorer. But I really do think Callum Wilson's a really good goal scorer. He's been massive for us. Like, we haven't had a striker like that for a long time, since like Rondon was on loan for us. And we need someone like that, but we haven't got the players to give him the service. So it's making him seem bad, when in reality it's not like that. It's because we just haven't got the players with the ability, or the players who we have, but it's the players that Steve Bruce chooses to play, haven't got the ability to direct the ball in the box. They haven't got like forward thinking attitude. As I say, if it's not a long ball into the box, it's like nothing, because unless you've got people like Almiron and St. Maximin who have the pace and they have the skill to get past defenders, I mean, we're relying on people like Hendrick, who I don't
even know why you signed him.
I do not rate him 1 ounce. Like, I literally can't see at all what he does for us in a good way, and unless it's negative. Like, I really don't rate him. Don't rate Sean Longstaff at the moment. Matty Longstaff's not direct enough with the ball to, direct it in for Callum Wilson. And Callum Wilson's not a player who tracks back a lot either, because he's not like that. He's a number 9. He shouldn't have.
Yeah, he's one that wants to. Yeah. He's like a Vardy type, isn't he? He wants to run in behind.
100%. He's not. He doesn't track back, so there's no point in that. So I do feel for him, because it was actually between us and Villa who were going to sign him. And if he's gone for Villa, who have really improved this year, especially with their attack and football, it probably would have been a different story. But hopefully, I don't know, in the future it might improve. But right now he is doing the job we wanted him to, I guess, you know, like score goals, because obviously last year one of our top scorers was a blooming defender, so that just tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, big up Bruce Ball. Would you take Rafa back, mate? The bear shit in the woods, like literally. Like,
I would literally go and ring Rafa right now if I couldn't say, do you want to come back? Like,
yeah, when I
honestly,
went to Newcastle away, I can't remember the name of the hotel I stayed in, but it was about 300 yards down from the hotel that Rafa used to go and have breakfast in on match days.
right.
Yeah, and he used to go in the bars and that and have drinks and that with all the fans and that, she was telling me, the woman in the reception.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was very, very fan oriented. I think that's why I love him.
Yeah, apparently, well, like you guys loved him up there because he would always take time out to go and speak to the fans and stuff like that. It's like, you know, Chelsea had that with Abramovich when he first went there as the owner. Obviously, he's not allowed in the country at the minute, but yeah, it's like you don't really see much of that anymore in football. So it's nice that he does that when he was there. And yeah, you massively fucked up letting him go. He should have. He's a quality man. I'd take him at Arsenal, Rafa Benitez. I think 100%. He's class.
I think when it was looking like Arteta was going to be, well, before, you know, Arsenal said they were going to back him and stuff, obviously, literally pretty much every Arsenal fan I came across said they wanted Benitez because he, you know, could do a better job with that specific team, obviously defensively and stuff, than anyone else that they knew. And yeah, I was so good. Like the day he left, I literally cried. And I don't like let football affect me in that sense, like where I cry and get upset over stuff. But I just knew that it meant that we were just gonna regress now as a club, because he was the hope. Like that was all we had. He was the hope for the club, and he got the fans, he got the club. He knew that we needed to progress as a club if we wanted to be, you know, a big club that we claim to be. And yeah, unfortunately, it's just gone the absolute opposite way. And then you get Steve Bruce, who's happy with like a 1-0 defeat because he feels like it's not that bad. So it's just tragic, really.
It's mad. It's mad. Big up to Red United as well. Appreciate your donation. And to you, Steve, for yours. What's up? Do you think Newcastle will upset Arsenal tomorrow? We'll come into that in a second with scores, mate. Nice to see you again, Kendall. What happened to Maxi? I don't know who Maxi is.
St. Maximin, he's back.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That code word, I didn't get it, bro. Sorry.
He's back now in training. I did see something on Twitter yesterday that said he could possibly be in tomorrow. I highly doubt anyone is that irresponsible for him to play tomorrow. He's only just come back to training on Wednesday after 7-8 weeks off. There's just, I'm very, very, well, I say no one could be that stupid. I wouldn't put it past him, like, but but yeah, it just no chance. He's not in tomorrow.
No, I'd be surprised if he starts him, but then again, it is Steve Bruce. And him and Arteta work in mysterious ways. I didn't expect to see Thomas Partey starting against Tottenham, and then he started and got injured again, and he ain't started a game since. And now, hopefully, he's going to be back for you guys tomorrow. He came on for 20 minutes the other night. Didn't look great, but we didn't look great. And you know, this is what I said the other day. Like, I'm so worried about in all due respect, the lesser teams. Like the teams we're expected to beat are the ones that always. Like we always drop points against them. Normally our home form's pretty decent. This season it's been shocking. Like we've got one of the worst home records in the league, I think, with that bad. But I do think we're going to beat you tomorrow. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's a 1-0 last minute winner off a corner, 100%. Like saying crap like that. But are you confident you can get anything, or are you just like?
I don't think it'll be a thrashing at all. I'm not confident about a win whatsoever. I don't think we'll win. I just don't think that we have that at the moment to score goals. I mean, look, we've had 1 goal in 10 hours of football, which tells you everything, really. So I'm not, I'm not confident in a goal whatsoever. We've only scored 1 open play goal in 8 games. So I'm not confident whatsoever that we're going to score. But I do think, again, as I said, even the last game in the FA Cup, I do think it'll be another close, tight game again. Obviously this time we don't have extra time, so maybe that works in our favour.
That'll do you a favour,
because extra time absolutely killed us off in the FA Cup and we only left 1 sub to use. So I do think again it'll be an Arsenal win, but as you say, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 1-0 goal, like that was it. I can't see it being like a goal fest, if I'm honest, unless Aubameyang decides to be 2019-20 which, you know, it is us.
Not happening. It's probably got 0-0 written all over it. For all the people in the chat saying that I look like I've got sunburn and all that, yeah, it's the lighting, bro. The lighting in this house is dead. When I'm in Spain and I've got my lights on in front of me and I look pale white and everyone goes, oh, it don't look like you even live in Spain. Look how white you are. It's because of the lighting. The darker the lighting, the darker I look. It's mad. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Arsenal. And it wouldn't surprise me, like I said, if it was a last-minute goal.
Yeah.
And like, if I was you lot, I would play Andy Carroll, but I'd play him with Callum Wilson. I'll play them both.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to play them both because Andy Carroll can win the flick-ons, and if he gets clean through, 9 times out of 10 he'll score anyway because he's a good striker, Wilson. But Almiron's a good player. I rate him as well. And I think Yedlin's back in the team now, is he? Because he was dropped for us.
He was dropped for like ages, and then randomly came back, and he looked all right.
He's a good player though, Yedlin.
Yeah, I think he is. But you know, everyone's just looked really shite under Bruce. So, probably be back in. I can't. Bruce, for some reason, isn't a fan of Manquillo, who is our most defensive right back. And then we have Kraft, who is literally the worst thing. He's a Swedish international. I think I'll go and play for Sweden if that's the case. Like, 'cause he's awful. Who sanctioned that sign now? We'll never know. But I think Yedlin will probably be in the team tomorrow.
Before we wrap this up, make sure you smash the likes up to 600 people watching. Make sure you subscribe to Kendall's channel as well. The link's in the title. Also, before we wrap this up, do you think you're going to sign anyone this month? Obviously, time's ticking. You haven't signed anyone. I don't think many teams have signed anyone, have they, really? No. But do you think you're going to get anyone? Is anyone going out? Like, any coming in?
So, major players, I don't think anyone's going out unless Dwight Gale leaves. I don't know whether that'll be this month or whether it'll be in the summer. But I have this feeling that he's definitely gone. Although I did see another Twitter article today. That's what I mean. If I use Twitter as my newspaper, and half the time it's pretty crap. But I did see someone say today that Bruce had asked the club to extend Dwight Gale's contract beyond this year, and the club aren't happy about doing it. So
he's been a flop since he got to you lot. Like, and he was good before.
Good in the championship. Then he got injured at the back end of the season. And he would have absolutely walked top scorer in the championship that season. But that is his level. I think the championship is his level. Like, he's a really, really good striker in the championship. Then obviously he gets to the Premier League. To be fair, he hasn't had game time, so that is an issue. But he gets to the Premier League and it's like kind of not as good. He's like not on the level to be a good, decent goal scorer in the Premier League. So but I don't think we are signing anyone really. Willems, who are left back, will not sign him because he'll be free in the summer. So I can't see him coming in January because there's just no point. Mike Ashley just wouldn't part with wasted money, if you will. And everything else I just saw was bloody Phil Jones and Brandon Williams and Jesse Lingard, all the Man United cast-offs, because, you know, Steve Bruce is a Man United agent. So, that's what I think. So we're just getting the cast-offs. But as of right now, I can't see us sign anyone, and we haven't got cash for signings anyway, Ashley said. So it'll just be a loan signing if
so you won't be getting Mbappe anytime soon then?
No, not anytime soon, unfortunately. unless we actually sell the stadium. That'll be the only thing that'll fund Mbappe at this point, I think.
I wanted to ask you as well, right? Because I know that there's been a few times that Newcastle have nearly been sold. Do you think he's ever actually going to fuck off? Like, seriously, it's like last time with the Saudi prince and all that one. I actually thought that might happen, but then when your fans were talking about, I can't remember who it was. I see somebody saying we're going to sign Mbappe on a video. I was wetting myself. I was like, you know, this ain't going to happen, innit? Right? But do you think it's going to happen? Because I don't think he wants to sell it. I think he likes the idea of telling you as fans that he wants to sell it. And then when he gets into negotiations, I just think he's a prick.
Yeah,
and he just deliberately fucks it.
That's what he's done in the past. He's moved the goalposts every single time it's ever been close to a sale. And this time, this is why it was so heartbreaking when this takeover didn't go through this time, because it was the closest we'd ever been to a takeover. And instead of it being Mike Ashley who ruined it this time, it was actually the Premier League. So that's why it was harder to swallow because it was like we were actually so close, and he is taking the Premier League to court on that now. So I know for a final fact, in 10 years, this has been the closest and the most active he's ever been willing to sell the club. So, you know, when that takeover fell through, I thought, oh God, we stuck with him for another 10 years. Honestly, I was getting ready to like just not ever watch Premier League football again. I was like, I can't do it. But now, because obviously all these court proceedings, I really do think that he's actually finished with it, because this coronavirus will have hit him so hard because his business ventures are high street shops.
Yeah.
And obviously none's been open. Yeah, can't go there. He owns Flannels, he owns House of Fraser, he owns...
Does he own House of Fraser? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How fucking opposite end as well. House of Fraser and then...
I know.
Sports Direct. That's mad.
So yeah, he owns a couple of them. I think he tried to buy Debenhams and he was refused as well. So he is struggling through this pandemic. So he really needs to sell the club if he wants to, you know, continue making these fortunes, because High Street's clearly not going to be it at the minute. So yeah, needs to sell, I think.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Newcastle need to be back up again. With the likes of Ginola and all of them ones. That was when Newcastle were balling. Tino a spree of banging goals against Barca and all that. Newcastle was sick back there. I used to love Newcastle. David Ginola, what a footballer. He's so underrated as well. He don't get enough love even now. But big up to Red United. Thanks again for your donation, bruv. You're the man, bruv. Every time you come in the chat, you always drop $100. I always appreciate that, mate. Always. And I hope you and the family are well in America, mate. This is for you. Really like how you promote people and also have others on your channel. Respect that. I like the work rate you put in. Like I said before, you help a lot, even though you don't know. Kendall, your channel needs super chats, please. What's going on with your channel? Like, do you upload? Do you not upload?
The thing is, I always focus on other people's streams because people ask me to do stuff. I'm like, yes. And obviously, being a single parent, especially in this pandemic, I don't have like the time of day to sit and do do content all the time. For me personally, I just don't. So I really do need to take some time out and actually like start it. I mean, if my daughter was at nursery, that would have been a different story, because then I would have had that time, because obviously I'm not working at the moment because I'm cabin crew. So flights are not, going at the minute, especially with my contract, because mine is summer sun. So no one's going to Lanzarote or Gran Canaria this time of year. So I would have had that time, but I don't. So I do need to be more consistent with my channel, and I probably do need to prioritize that over a lot. But I love doing other people's streams. Like, I meet amazing people, like come on these like channels like yours, and it's like amazing to do that and like help out, and that's just what I always prioritize. So I don't begrudge it at all. I love it, but yeah, I do need to be a little bit more consistent with mine.
No, it's hard work. Honestly, it is hard. Like, people seem like, I get a lot of heat for people saying, "Oh, you're just making money off of negativity and like you're profiting off Arsenal being shit." Well, get better then. Like, it's as simple as that.
That's your opinion. Like, that's how you feel.
Do you know what
I don't
saying?
get these people who watch just to hate, because you just
no, but they help you.
Yeah, exactly.
all day long. So thank you to all of them.
You're fueling people. You're helping them. You're supporting them by doing that. Yet you're still hating. So who's the one making money off your hate? Like, not you.
Yeah. But but honestly, just like I know it's hard work to build a channel. I had a channel with like 12k subs and then locked myself out of it. So I had to start all over again. Yeah, and obviously now we're here. But yeah, it is hard work. So I do get that. And especially when you've got a job. I know you're not working at the minute, but it's a full-time job looking after the little one. I didn't see her bouncing around in the back tonight.
No, she's asleep tonight. She's asleep. I got her in bed at 8 o'clock. I was like, right, you're going to bed. Like, no matter what this time, you go to bed.
Big up to Troops in the building as well. Big up to you, my guy. You fucked off back to America and all of a sudden Arsenal lose again. Well, we didn't lose, but it felt like a loss. It was a draw, wasn't it? But you need to come back. Next flight back from New York, bruv. Get on the plane tonight so we don't lose against Newcastle.
You'll be here in time for tomorrow.
It's mad. Literally, come back. And we hadn't, as soon as he left, we hadn't won for like 2 months. For the whole time he left. He comes back, we won 4 in a row. Yeah, and then he goes back and we drew with Palace. It's like, man, this is a joke. Big up to Caveman from Bangkok as well. Some of these names are funny, man. Big up to you. Arteta's replacement is more important than me graduating from college, for fuck's sake. Big up to everybody who has watched live. Make sure you do slap the likes up through the roof. Make sure you also subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Kendall's channel, link in the title. She will drop some content at some point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will wish you no luck for tomorrow. Not that you'll need it, because we're shit. So no doubt you will turn up at the Emirates.
Join the club.
And Andy Carroll will turn into Zlatan. This time he will score. And yeah, I'm kind of bricking it. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Arsenal. So thanks for coming on again. Appreciate that.
No, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, man, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. And there was no simps in the chat tonight, so we did good.
Wow, amazing. That was good.
And any ones that were in there, I didn't see them anyway. So yeah, the mods were moving proper tonight. They were moving correct. So big up to everyone who watched live. Tomorrow, very quickly, Mesut Ozil will be leaving the club. Yes, we'll be drinking champagne for breakfast and doing a live stream as soon as it is announced. Hopefully it's early because I've got a mad busy day. I've got rants at 4 o'clock coming on, and then a watch along at 10 to 7, Chig's channel at 10:30, and then back on here at midnight. So yeah, it's a madness. And hopefully they drop that early. Knowing Mesut, it would be dropped just before kickoff and overshadow our game, because that's how he rolls. But thanks again, Kendall. Appreciate it. Big up to everyone in the chat. I'm out of here. Laters.